Welcome to the Happiness and Meaning of Life show. I'm your host, Marilyn Tam. Each show, I interview a person of accomplishment who is living a life of meaning and purpose and happiness. Each one is following their own path. We'll learn their insights on creating a joyous, purposeful, and rewarding life. You can learn more on how to have a happy, healthy, and productive life of meaning and purpose on my website, marilyntam.com. Welcome. Welcome. Today, I am delighted to be speaking with Howard Schiffer. Howard, following a career as a midwife, then in the natural products industry, Howard Schiffer founded Vitamin Angels in 1994. Vitamin Angels is dedicated to protecting health for mothers and children in need. Vitamin Angels reaches over 60 million underserved pregnant women and children with nutritional interventions annually in over 65 countries in all 50 US states. Howard is not only the founder, he's also the president, and he's also one of the calmest people I know. And I've seen him in pretty dire situations because we've traveled together on different humanitarian journeys into India and different places where conditions are never easy. Yet he maintains equanimity and he's happy. So Howard, welcome.
So glad to be here, Marilyn.
Thank you, thank you. So I know everybody's just dying to know you've lived such a full life and done so many things, and you chose to do this very challenging work, because I know your story where you actually worked full-time, mortgaged your house, and started Vitamin Angels basically from your bedroom. And
yes.
Now here's what, 20, 30, almost 30 years later?
27, yes.
27 years later. So what is happiness to you? Because it's definitely something that must be driving you, because it's not the money.
Not the money. Happiness to me is about alignment. It's about aligning your inner and outer life so that they're in harmony. And I think for me, what I tell people is I say, well, look, you could come to Vitamin Angels, you can come over to my house, you could talk to my kids, you could see me in the field, and there's no difference, there's no separation. That who I am is the work that I'm doing. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to move the organization forward over 27 years to where, I can do this full time and get to really see what a difference we're making around the world, but really feel in alignment that who I am, what's important to me is very clearly shown by the work that Vitamin Angels was doing. And that was not always the case. So I appreciate that I've gotten to this point in my life.
Uh-huh. So obviously you have anchored into the meaning of life, the meaning of life for you. So what would you call that?
Well, the quote that I like is from Mark Twain. He said, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. And I think that is the key to happiness, is figuring out why you're here. I took a media class once with a morning talk show person from LA named Joel Roberts, and he said everyone's life is a laboratory to create one product. And I think if you don't find your why, you'll never know your way. And I think for a human being to be happy, I think you've got to figure out why you're here, that we're all here for a very specific reason. And if you could find that, you could be happy for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. So I just was interested, what would be the one thing you would say that makes you happy?
One thing that makes me happy is my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add to that saying I have a very big family. Mm-hmm. My family encompasses my work also. So being with my family, my immediate family, and the family that I've created at Vitamin Angels, and the family that we serve around the world, it's a very rewarding feeling to feel this connection, a very intimate connection with so many people, that we're all working together for a greater good. And that, my family supports it. The people at work have made a career of this commitment. And then, all the in-country people that we have working with us. I mean, 25 people around the world in countries like Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda and India and the Philippines and Indonesia and Mexico. I mean, all those people that we're all trying to give women and children a chance at a healthy and productive life. That to me is it's incredibly rewarding. It's like it's a gift. I mean, people say, Howard, oh, you're so self-sacrificing. I say, no. I said, before I did this, I was sacrificing myself. Now I've been able to find myself. I said, this is anything I put out, I get back 100-fold. So this has nothing to do about self-sacrificing. This is a gift. It's an honor to be able to be welcomed into people's homes in 70 countries around the world that I never met. And they let me play with their kids and they invite me into their homes and they want to feed me. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible generosity that I get. So.
And I've seen you in action in all these places, and it's true because they love you and you love them. And it is truthfully a really happy time to be spending time with your family globally.
Yes.
So how would you put that as what you would be like to be remembered for? Because all this is adding up to something and we all leave a legacy. And so what is that for you?
Well, Marilyn, that before I did this work, I was at a point in my life when I was trying to figure it out, and somebody told me they had taken a writing class, and the exercise was writing your obituary. And at that point, I was in the vitamin business, and I remember waking up the next day and I saw a gravestone that said he sold a lot of products, and I thought, that's not it. That's never going to work for me. And today, I would like to think that I was, some part of making a difference, that I gave some women, some children, some babies a healthy start. And they got a chance to have hope, that they could have hope that they're, I talk to moms all over the world. And whether it's Mississippi or Mozambique or Mumbai, if I ask a mom what she wants, they all say exactly the same thing. 27 years. They all say, I want my kids to be healthy. I want them to get an education, to be able to do better. I mean, every one of them. And I hope that our work is making that difference so that moms can feel like their children are healthy and they have a chance to go to school and to do better in their lives. And I hope that Vitamin Angels always is an organization with heart, that it's not only what we do, but it's how we do our work, that we care about these women and children, that we see, that we listen to their stories.
So this is so inspiring. I'm sure that people listening or watching this are going to say, well, how do I get to this place? I want to be happier too. Where should I start? What would you advise them to do?
I would first have people trust that you really are here for a reason, and that your self was created to do one thing really special, and to just commit to that. Just keep. I mean, it took me about 5 years between when I figured out I needed to do something different and I was able to found Vitamin Angels. But it was almost like I raised my hand, and once I raised my hand, it was like, okay, you're recruited. You're going to work. And ultimately, I would say it has to be about service. I think that's why we're here. I think we're here to help each other. And I think that's the only thing that really makes sense of this world. And every time there's an event like a tragedy around shooting or something, it's like, where we retreat to is our connection with each other and checking in on people that we love. Are you okay? How are you doing? Why are you feeling? That to me is that's the purpose of why otherwise it would be one person on the whole planet. But there's all these other people. So we're supposed to be learning. We have something to give to each other. I mean, you and I've gotten so much from you over the years. It's like, that's why we're here. We're here to kind of be in service to each other and to humanity. And I think if you start to focus on that, I think the story I tell people is Marshall Karp, who called me up in 2002, and he wanted to get vitamins to an orphanage in Romania. I said, fine. I said, you want me to tell you how to do it? And anyway, we started talking every other day. Mm-hmm. And over a few weeks, I said, Marshall, I'll tell you how. I'll hold your hand while you do it. I'll do it for you. Just let me know. And over that time, he started asking about what we did. I started telling him that vitamin A could stop a child from going blind. And he was just floored. He's like, wow, really? And how much does it cost? And I told him 25 cents a year. And he was stunned. Mm-hmm. And he said, so if you had more money, you could reach more children. And mm-hmm. anyhow, at the end of the story was that he used to be an advertising executive, led us to Johnson & Johnson. They became our first corporate partner in India, and which is now our biggest program in the world. And it wasn't until months later that Marshall told me that the reason he called was that his daughter had been at World Trade Center on 9/11, and she ended up being fine. But in those 4 hours when he couldn't talk, he made a deal that he was like, okay, I'm not going to get out of bed until, unless I could do one thing to make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. And he figured out something that day, and then the next day and the next day, and finally met these doctors who wanted to get these vitamins to Romania, and that led him to us. And I think if your intention is to do good, there's a lot of good to be done in the world, and you will find many entities. And I think that will be the key to happiness.
I think you said so much. Your intention to do good, there's so much good that's going to come to you to be done. Absolutely. And that's the key to happiness. That's really a mouthful right there. Thank you. So are there any additional thoughts you want to share with our viewers, our listeners?
Years ago, I was a lot younger. I almost died. I was in a coma for about 10 days, blood poisoning. And during that time, on my hospital chart, it said prognosis is poor, 90% chance that I won't make it. But I saw how thin. I always thought that if I was going to die, it would be cataclysmic. It's like some big event and some big disease. But here it was, with no notice. I thought I had a cold. And all of a sudden, I was hanging on by this. I saw how thin the thread is. Mm-hmm. And my last message would be that life is short. We only get one chance. We're here. And, it's like the people that died, sadly, in the last week from somebody who was crazy and started shooting them, they didn't wake up that morning thinking it was their last day. Yeah. But it was their last day. And it's like, and we only have this moment. We only have this very, very short time. And we get this choice to do something great. That's how I left that hospital. I thought, well, I could have died. And I thought, I want to do something great. Mm-hmm. And, years later, I found Vitamin Angel. So I just think that this is our opportunity. Yes. And we don't know how long we're going to be here, but we know that today we get this chance. Like right now, I get to talk to you and I get to maybe inspire somebody else out there to think, wow, what can I do? What's one thing I could do? Who can I call to just tell them that they're really important to me? Or who can I help, cross the street or bring in groceries? It's like, mm-hmm. It doesn't take a lot. And I see this in the villages, the towns we work in, that the people are so thankful that we showed up because not many people do. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we showed up is, before I said how we do is as important as what we do. The fact that we showed up and we said, we want to help you, that we care about you, that I tell them, I want the same thing for your kids that I want for my own kids. That means everything. People are just they're like, wow, thank you. Thank you. And it's the greatest gift. So
That's right. So after this, I'm sure everybody will want to know how to learn more about Vitamin Angels. Would you share with our viewers and our listeners your website and more about your work?
yes. It's the website is Vitamin Angels, plural, angels plural, .org, vitaminangels.org.
Well, Howard, as always, it's great to talk to you. And thank you for sharing your insights and wisdom on happiness and meaning of life.
Thank you, Marilyn. Always a pleasure.